Good morning. We are going to see about how to create Oracle tables using SQL, and we are going to move along with this. Okay, what is SQL? First, you have to know what is SQL. This structured query language, or you're going to call it by the name SQL. It is a computer language for storing, manipulating, and retrieving data stored in relational database system. Okay, in there in SQL you're having something called as DDL. DDL stands for data definition language. Data definition language statements actually define, modify, and remove objects from data dictionary tables where they are going, or everything will be stored in a place called as a data dictionary that is maintained by the database management system. The third one, that is whenever a DDL statement is used, DBMS changes the metadata. The information about the data is called as metadata, maintained in the data dictionary. Objects that can be defined include table, view, sequence, index. All these things are objects which can be defined inside the SQL, that is a SQL table, in perspective of a data dictionary. Okay. Commands in DDL. As I already told you, DDL stands for Data Definition Language. SQL, already I told, SQL will be having DDL, DML, DCL, and TCL, in which we are going to specify only mainly about DDL here. DDL is actually Data Definition Language, which includes create statements, that is, creates new database objects, and then alter means modify the existing database objects. Drop the already existing database objects will be deleted. And then truncate, remove all the rows from a table, that is truncate. All these things, if you're going to do anything to the structure of the table, that is the object, then you're going to call it as data definition language. And then the other than the DML is actually manipulation of data, that is insertion of data. All these things will be coming under DML. And transaction control language, which deals with granting a particular privilege and revoking a particular, you're giving a particular, suppose you are a database administrator, you will give a particular privilege to a person, or you will take back the privilege, that is revoke. These two will be coming under TCL. And then DCL stands for data control language. Data control language means you'll be having rollback, you'll be having commit, because you will not save the program. Suppose if you have done a particular operation, if you want to go back to the previous state, then you will be going for rollback. Suppose if you want to save that, but till the transaction, till that particular thing is over, you will be giving commit and save point. All these things will be coming under DCL, that is data control language. These are the commands in general. And then we're going for creation of Oracle tables. Okay, a user creates an Oracle table in SQL Star Plus environment here. And then this is actually the general syntax for creation of a table. Okay, create table, table name. Normally you'll be having the database name, schema name. All these things are hierarchy. First the database name, then the schema name, and then the table name. You will only specify the table name because it is whatever given inside the square braces are optional. That applies whenever required. So you'll be having the primary key column, and then data type. You have to specify the primary, that is employee ID or something like that, primary key column. What is the data type of that particular column? And then you have to specify that it is a primary key. Then column underscore 1, what is the data type? Then you're specifying it as not null. And another column, what is the data type? It goes on. And if you want to have any constraints, you can set the constraints inside the table, creation of a table. This is what is the general syntax of creation of a table. Okay, this is the pictorial representation. What happens here is you're going to the operations like creation, insertion, updation, deletion. all these things in database are concerned with DDL, and it goes stored in the database, which is the back end. The front end will be all the operations. Whenever uh, it it all these things will be considered as a DDL, and it will be taken as a collection, and it will be getting stored in the back end in the database server in your server environment. Okay, so what happens here is it specifies the name of the database. I'm talking about the schema here for creation. It specifies the name of the database in which the table is created. The database must be a name of an existing database. If it is not specified, the database takes as default. Okay, secondly, you have to specify the schema to which the new data table belongs. And the third one, all these things I am telling about how to create a table. First, you have to specify the name of the database, and then you have to specify the schema, and then you have to specify the table name. This is the hierarchy. And fourth, you have to specify the primary key and the list of the other columns. This is what you're going to do in the creation of the table, which you have given in the previous slide. That description is given here. And then primary key consists of only one column. Only one column can be a primary key in normal case, and that primary key should not have any duplicate values, should be unique values. And then the foreign key, the fifth, the table may have some constraints specified in the table, such as you can have a foreign key, you can have a unique key constraint, you can have a check. All these things will be there. Okay, there will be a transaction. The thing is, whatever you're going to write a query, it will be sending through as a request, and the result will be coming as a response from the server. Okay, here what I've given an example here for create table. Okay, so create table, sales is actually the data, that is the main database. Okay, and then visits is actually the schema. Visits is actually the table name here. Okay, table name. So visit ID, suppose if a customer is visiting a store, you're going to create a date table for that. Visit ID is the primary key, and then the first name of the person, this last name of the person, and the time he or she visits, you are given as a date, time, and then phone number. And then what is the store ID? You'll be having many branches, you have to store ID, which is a not null, and it is the foreign key, and which references what sales.stores, sales.visit is one table here. There is one parent table is there, which is stores. Okay, that is called a store ID. Store ID is the primary key. Through the store ID, which is referring the, here store ID is actually the foreign key, there it will be the primary key. Okay, the same thing here comes here, the explanation part of it. The identity 1 comma 1 is instructing your SQL server to automatically generate integer numbers for the column starting from 1 and increasing by 1. You're going to tell what manner you're going to increase. It will increase by one new row at a time, so that this will grow in a linear fashion. The first name and the last name is of the type varchar, variable character, and it can store up to 50 characters. It visited at time at which they have visited is a date time here. It records the date and time of the customer that had visited the store. Okay, and then phone column should not, you cannot, it can accept null values. And then the identification number of the store in which he or she purchased. Okay, here the creation of a primary key. Here one more example I have given here. Employee ID is actually the primary key here. First name and last name, in which city, and the constraint primary key, employee ID and first name. This is actually an employee table having these attributes. Okay, thank you for watching.